Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to see you again. As ma'am said, today we are going to learn about fungating wound management. Last week we have learned about bed sore management. So this session will be handled by Ms. Anna Rao, who was our last week faculty. Anna Rao, welcome back and over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to share the knowledge and thankful to Pellium for inviting me once again. Merry Christmas to everyone and looking forward to a good, healthy New Year for everyone. So let us move to today's topic, that is about the fungating wounds. Last time we had discussed about the bed sore, right? We had discussed that we can see two main types of wounds in our palliative care setting. One is bed sore and another one is fungating wound. I hope everyone remembers last week's topic very well. As some of the points of management we will be repeating this time also, of course, from the different perspective. Okay, so we'll need last time's few points also. Okay, so what is fungating wound? Many of you might have seen it, and many of you may further see it in your future care in palliative setting. Yes, so fungating wound is seen as the mass of malignant cells that have infiltrated the epithelium layer of the skin. Okay, and it will also involve or you can say the cells will encroach the blood vessels and lymph vessels also. So they will have a typical appearance and it will carry a lot more difficulties for the patients and the caretakers. Okay, so mainly this wound is seen as a complication of cancer. Okay? And it can be caused by either direct infiltration of the tumor into the skin, and it can be of metastatic deposit also. Okay? And it can, of course, very well arise from the primary skin tumor. Okay, so there will be plenty of the things which we have to know about the tumor and about the care, because our each patient will be very different from one another. So why it is so important to take care of this patient? It is said that 5 to 15% of cancers can result into fungating wound, and it becomes very traumatic for the patient because it will be a visual reminder of the cancer, which may person may be trying to forget but cannot forget because of this appearance. It will be very much painful and it will have a lot of exudate. It can cause bleeding and bad odor. And without treatment or without care, we can say, because this wound is not going to heal. Okay? And we cannot prevent it to take place. Okay? Only thing what we can prevent is the further problems which can lead to massive shock for the patient and carers. Okay? So we want to prevent all those things. And it will, of course, damage very largely to the site. Here you can see a lady is having the fungating wound on the chest, right? So you can imagine what would be the condition. What are the characteristics of this kind of wound and where it will you find? Okay, mainly it can of course occur in any part of the body, okay, but generally it is at some specific areas. Okay, so if we see the characteristics, it will be fungal in nature and you will see a crater like appearance. Okay, so outside part will be a boundary and the middle part will be like a volcano. Okay, the fluid will be oozing out. Sometimes you will find it of the appearance like cauliflower also. And of course, it will grow very rapidly and it can ulcerate and proliferate in the surrounding tissues also, surrounding parts. And it can very well fistulate with the cavity below it. Okay, so it can cause many problems. There will be many physical symptoms. We will see it in later on also. Okay. Most common site is breast wounds, okay, and of course head and neck cancer also. It also can be seen in soft tissue sarcoma in case of kidney, bladder, lung, ovary, vagina, colon and penis cancers also. And each individual presentation will be very different. Here you can see it in the case of head and neck cancer. See how it looks. Yes, so what is the process of development? Okay, there is a lesion and thus there is no speed limit for the proliferation of the cells, right? As we know. And soon it will become from small lesion, it will within few days, it will take an appearance of a large wound, which will appear like cauliflower. There is ulceration of the tissues and there would be down the line erosion of sinuses and there would be lot of exudates because of that. Okay, it will also affect the vascular, deficiency will take place. Okay, the tissues will not get effective blood supply. Okay, because of that, what will happen? There will be region of hypoxia. Tissues will not get enough oxygen and nutrition, and it will lead to necrosis. Okay, because the lymphatic vessels are affected, okay, what will happen? There will be increased interstitial fluid, okay, and it will cause increased extravascular pressure. So further collapse of blood vessels and further problems and the site will be oozing greatly. What will happen next? Because of excessive proliferation, the acidic pH of extracellular fluid will be increased. There will be also interference with the clotting mechanism, okay, and that will lead to bleeding. Okay, and all the tissues will be very soggy, very soft and friable. Okay, you touch it and it will start bleeding. Okay, then what will happen? Because there is moist necrosis because of lot of oozing. Okay, so it will invite other microorganisms and it will cause infection. These microorganisms can be aerobics also, anaerobics also. Okay, they will further destroy the tissues. Okay, and there will be again the tissues will be catabolism will take place. Okay, and because of that, what will happen? Fatty acids will also be there, and that will give us exudate plus malodor will be there. Okay, so all these physical symptoms we will find. Okay, so what to do, how to manage this type of wound. Okay. Now, if this type of wound is there, you can imagine that whether we aim at the healing or what. Okay, you will say that this type of wound will go on increasing. The size will go on increasing, problems will also increase. So now our aim will be not towards the healing of the wound, but look to the points where you can prevent the problems. Say, for example, you want less bleeding, you want less exudate, okay? You want less malodor. Okay? So these type of problems we would like to lessen. Okay? So symptom control is our main goal. Fine. So as this wound is chronic in nature and very complex to manage, okay, so we need to plan in such a way that, and for each patient different problems. Okay, so when we are writing or we are taking care of the patient, our nursing plan should contain all the assessment points, what to do and then how to plan. Okay, and not to forget the relatives. Always involve relatives because ultimately they are the ones who will be taking care of the wound in patient. Okay, and other problems, psychological problems, social problems also should not be forgotten. Okay, so let us move to the assessment part. Why it is necessary? Okay, why we do assessment? Basically, it is to monitor the efficacy of treatment, what we are doing, whether it is benefiting to the patient and caretaker or not. Whatever treatment we are giving, whether it has any side effects or not. And of course, our main purpose is to maintain good quality of life. Okay, so that aspect should not be forgotten. So holistic approach again is very, very important. Okay, so I am putting two pictures in front of you. Okay, can you just look at them and imagine the problems of the patient? Okay, and of course, do it under the heading of our total pain. Okay, so what you will find out? Physical problems in these two patients, psychological problems of these two patients, spiritual problems, and social problems. Okay, just list them out and you can share whatever you have listed in the chat box, or you can put on your microphone and list them. Okay, at least few of them so that we can discuss further. We will take couple of minutes, then we will move to next slide. Yes, good. Yes, very good. So I can see many problems. Pain is there, isolation, communication problems, discomfort, depression, anger. Good. Eating problem. Yes. So many problems patient will be having, right? Depending which area, which part of the body is involved, of course, right? Fine. So first and foremost, we will see about the physical problems. Okay. So identify the location and size of the wound, right? So measure the wound. Okay. Then you check what type of tissues are involved in the wound bed, from where it is occurring. Okay. Then it can be what is the level of exudate, the secretions which are coming out of the wound. Okay. Then whether there is malodor or not. What is the pain level? Okay, this will also, of course, include not only the pain which occurs because of the wound. Say, for example, it might be compressing the nerves under the tumor, okay? But also include the pain which occurs during the dressing. Okay? Then whether the patient is having any kind of itching or not. Right? Because the surrounding tissues also will itch a lot as this surrounding tissue will get excoriation. Okay, so that also we need to pay attention to. Then how the patient's daily activities of living are affected. What is the effect of our patient's wound on the daily life? Okay? And how frequently you need to change the dressing, because it is bleeding a lot or it is oozing a lot, you need at least 2 to 3 times change in the dressing. Okay, and each time dressing change, there will be discomfort to the patient, right? Also, the patient may not be doing it on herself, or carer is not able to manage it. Patient has to stay at the hospital, or he has to frequently visit the nearby clinic. Okay, all this will create lot of discomfort. It will also be bulky, okay, so it will lead to other problems. It will not stay in a place, right? You will have to apply a lot of bandages to it, right? And of course the patient will not be able to hide it, okay? So pain because of that also, right? If there is infection, it will lead to other problems, right? So these are just some of the physical problems which patient can suffer with. Okay. Next is psychological issues. The patient will be worried about the body image, okay, malodor that is occurring because of the wound and secretions. He will literally feel that he is rotting away because of the cancer. There will be feeling of disgust, communication difficulties, as some of you said, cosmetic effect of dressing, right? Because of it will be very bulky. Isolation, social isolation, is not able to take part in the activities, social activities, not able to go out of the house. There may be rejection from the community people. Okay. Patient can go into denial stage also. There will be agony, depression, embarrassment, constant fear because of the worsening condition. Patient can feel guilt also. Right? So many things will be there. And the unpredictable physical symptoms, and there will be lot of time consuming in the dressing. Okay, so many times what happens that patients, they will avoid their self-care. Okay, they can lose their relationships even with the very close ones. There are breakage of the families also because of it. Okay, symptoms of distress will make huge impact on the daily living, right? There can be non-acceptance from the I mean, family members, okay, and so many things. Okay, so here are the social problems. Family can break up. Okay, surrounding atmosphere will be so much, there will be so much of bad order that meal times, common meal times can become a problem. Visitors will not be there in the house. Okay, so information on the needs of the patient and family should be identified and also shared with the family members. That is important. There can be restrictions because of dressing changes. There may be problems of privacy also, right? Patient will have fear of losing self-respect and self-esteem. If married couples, there would be question of sexuality also, shame also, right? So many problems. And of course, the support from the society and support from the family itself can be into a great dilemma. All the resources, financial resources are used up after just one person. A economical situation will be dwindling down. So many things are there. And not to forget our spiritual issues. Many a times patients lose faith in God. In some of the cases, even opposite can happen. Patient can be seen overtly faithful to different gods. They may visit many places in the belief that they will get cured by visiting those places. There can be question of why me, can be question of anger, rejection from the community. People may think that it is God's curse on the family or the person, and he will not be able to take part or not allowed to take part in religious activities. Okay? And the patient can lose the purpose to live his own life. Okay? So many problems. Okay, so looking at these assessment points, we need to prepare a care plan for the patient and execute it. What to do? Okay, so our patient care will depend on these things. First is assessment of pain, right? You must have learned that. Then there can be bleeding. So what to do in that? Then there will be exudate. So what to do to control it? How to do a dressing of such wound? There is a lot of malodor. Then what to do? If this is worst part of it, maggots infestation, then what? If there is secondary infection, then what? Okay, so all these points we will remember and take care. Or you can simply remember the HOPES model. Okay, that also is a good one. Okay, so anyways, we will remember how to take care.
Ma'am, your voice is echo.
Hello.
Now it is okay.
Yeah, okay. So let us see what we can do for this patient. Many of the patients, they benefit from the cancer therapy, like radiation therapy and chemotherapy also. Okay, so if patient's condition permits, we can get the patient go through this therapy. Surgical debridement can also be done. Okay, if possible, skin grafting can also be done. Of course, when the wound is small, that will be possible. Okay, so control of infection with the help of systemic antibiotics. Many times culture and sensitivity test is also done if patient is going to benefit. Okay, we also have to see that whether patient is going to benefit from all your aspects of treatment or not. In case of pain, identify what kind of pain is there, whether it is aching type, stabbing type, or continuous, because our analgesic types will depend on that. Okay, so when we are doing pain assessment, we have to keep that points in the mind. Okay, and adjust the systemic analgesics in such a way that your dressing is either after half an hour or so, after the dose of analgesic, or give extra analgesic just before your dressing time. Okay, if the patient is getting morphine, then that tablet also can be given before dressing. If there is superficial pain like burning type or stinging type, then local application of lignocaine jelly or opioid can also help. Soak for the wound for 10 minutes, okay, and then do the dressing, do the cleaning part. If there is incidental pain, then ketamine sublingual is also useful. Okay, so we need to identify what type of pain it is. Second part is malodor, how to control. Okay, so we had seen that how it occurs. It occurs because of the growth of the anaerobic bacteria in the dead tissues. Okay, so what to do? Dressing is must every day, right? So before dressing, what can be advised to the patient? Bath. Okay, so that the affected part is good enough, it is drained enough, okay, and the material will easily come out. Dressing material which is added to the wound can come out. Okay, then you can wash it with the isotonic saline solution, right? After that, you can apply topical metronidazole. Crushed tablets of the metronidazole, the person can store it in airtight container, okay, and you can preserve it so that can be sprinkled over the wound, and then pack it nicely with the dressing material. Many times it can be irrigated with the help of metronidazole liquid also, right, with the pints which we are getting. Okay, so that metronidazole can be given, for the purpose of irrigation. Even systemic metronidazole also can be used for the purpose. Okay, and if the dressing is very much painful, then metronidazole powder can be mixed with the lignocaine jelly and it can be applied over the wound. So that is also good enough. If there is cavity, right? So at that time, it can be metronidazole can be used as nebulization also. So the small vapor will go inside the cavities and we can cover all the part of the tissues with the metronidazole. So that is also helpful. Dressing, many times patient will require twice in a day. Okay. If patient has other infection, then topical antimicrobials can be used. Okay. And what about the room air which has a staunch smell. Okay, so to remove that, we can use the pieces of charcoal, which can be kept under patient's bed. Also, old newspapers can be placed under the patient's bed sheet. That will also absorb the bad odor. Other things like room freshener and kapoor, all that can also be used to control odor in the room. What about the exudates? Okay, because that is causing the havoc. Okay, so for moderate or large quantities of exudate, what will you do? The wound has to be covered with good amount of the dressing material. Okay, because otherwise it will give other problems of soiling and maceration of the surrounding tissues. There would be leakage. Okay, so different types of dressing materials are available, like foams are available, alginates are also available, hydrofibers are used. Okay, so depending on patient's economical condition, this can be used. Okay, so basically super absorbent material, which is mainly based on the Diaco technology, they are used. Otherwise, what common things can be used, like gauze pieces, okay, with the cotton, okay, what we are using in the hospital. At home, what can they do? Okay, because many of the patients will be very poor. Okay, so they can cut the soft clothes into square pieces and autoclave them, steam sterilizer of these pieces at home, and they can apply. Okay. And the material which we are using, the sticking material, it should not be very sticky. Mainly micropores are used, because others very hard sticking material can injure the surrounding tissues. Okay, so this we have to be keep in mind, because our patients will require frequent change of dressing, and with each removal the surrounding tissues will also get injured. Okay, so we will see to it that it is not very sticky. Other antimicrobial dressings are also used, like honey or silver or iodine. So that these materials can also be used. As we saw that the wound will be leaking and surrounding area is affected. Okay, so barrier film products are also useful, so that the skin, which is very fragile, can be protected from the oozing material. Okay, so minimize skin contact with the exudate, that should be taken care of. Okay. This radiotherapy is also useful in reducing exudate. Of course, side effects also should be taken into consideration and explained to the patient. These are the materials which we can use for the dressing, right? Some of them we listed in our past slide also. Foams, calcium alginates, what are the effects, benefits of them is said here. Like foams, they promote the moist wound environment and it doesn't adhere to the tissues. Okay? And we can cut it into as per the shape of the wound. So that is benefit. Calcium alginates will also help. It becomes the gel and it also absorbs any drainage. Okay, and it has hemostatic agent also. Honey also has high osmolarity. Okay, and it is also bactericidal in nature. Okay, so that also helps. Silver type of the ointments they will have gradual release of silver and it will provide bactericidal effects. Charcoal charcoal dressings, ready-made charcoal dressings are also available, but they are quite costly. So we hardly use it. Baking solution is also good. It also has bactericidal effects, and also it decreases the odor. Metronidazole, of course, it is widely used in all the palliative care settings and very effective also. What about bleeding? Okay, so main bleeding occurs, as we saw, at the time of redressing. Okay, so for that, what we need to do is give good bath to the patient or soak the dressing with the help of normal saline. Okay, and then only remove it from the wound. If mild bleeding is there, then with the help of local pressure for 10 minutes, we can stop it. If it still it is occurring, then pressure may be required for little longer time. If there is infection, then treatment of infection is essential. Topical sucralfate tablet powder is also there, which can be applied. If it is severe in nature, then systemic ethamsulate can be used, or tranexamic acid can also be used. Many times adrenaline packs are also used, but caution should be taken because it has tendency, the drug has tendency to elevate the pressure and it can lead to more bleeding. Okay, so that should be because the drug will be absorbed in the blood vessels, in the blood. Okay, then this is most important. Last time also we had discussed that teaching of caretaker is important and appreciation also, of course. Okay, how to prepare homemade saline, how to prepare sterile material. Okay, not to forget hand washing. If bleeding is there, then dark colored clothes can be used. Okay, so that because if white cloth is used or light color clothes are used, what will happen? The bleeding will be seen more because it will absorb. Okay, a patient himself will be shocked looking at to it. Relatives also will get shocked. Okay, so we want to prevent it. So dark color clothes are told to use. Then proper disposal of waste material is also very, very important, and regular follow-up by the healthcare team, palliative care team. That is very important. And as palliative care team member, we need to document all the care which is given to the patient. Right? So we can know if patient is deteriorating or not. This is worst nightmare, but many of the patients get this maggots, and how it occurs by the house flies. Okay, so always tell the patient to sleep in the mosquito net, okay, daytime or nighttime. Okay, and to prevent that, what to do? Cleaning and dressing of the wound. Okay, how to clean maggots, how to remove them. So here we are not pouring the turpentine onto the wound. It is very irritating. What we do is soak the cotton into turpentine and keep it near the wound so that it will cut off the oxygen supply to the maggots and they will jump out of the wound. So at that time you can catch hold of them with the help of thumb forceps. Okay, but never to follow the maggots into the wound, because if you are following them into the wound, your thumb forceps will injure the tissues, and we know that tissues are very fragile. and it can lead into bleeding. Okay, so we want to prevent it. So that is how you need to do dressing with maggots. This has to be repeated uh, every day, okay, and find out what is the result, whether they have decreased or not. Other local applications which are used in case of maggots are mineral oil, ether, chloroform, ethyl chloride, mercury chloride, creosote. Saline is always used for cleaning. Phenol, olive oil, okay, etc. are used. Surgical debridement is also can be done for removal of maggots. Okay, and triple therapy is used at some places, which consists of systemic ivermectin, albendazole, and clindamycin combination. Okay, so these three drugs are used for the patients who are having maggots in their wounds. So that is also quite beneficial. So taking care of psychological issues, what we discussed was physical issues, right? So when we are giving good care, physical care, psychological issues will also get taken care of. But also counseling, lot of communication also is required. Okay, so regular visits by the palliative care team will of course help in it. All the things which occurs because of the look wise, okay, aesthetic part. Okay, so the wound can be covered. How to cover? Right, with the help of the clothes they are wearing. Okay, so the lesion can be covered with that. Okay, when bleeding occurs, dark colored clothes should be worn when they are especially going out or like that. And if they have a lot of anxiety or depression, then the drugs can be used. Social issues, counseling of the family members, okay, involvement of social worker to identify their financial needs also, right? Because that is also a part to be taken care of. Support from NGO if it is possible. Okay, what schemes they can be benefited from the government, like getting of ration card, BPL card. Okay, there are different schemes also with which they can get monetary help from the government. Okay, so that also we need to help how they can get. Spiritual needs, again, counseling will help. Breaking the barrier among close relatives is also very, very important, because ultimately close relatives will be helpful. Attending to the wishes of patient, what they want to do, that also gives them a lot of mental relief. And of course, roping in the help of the religious leaders can also help if they have special requests of prayer or some rituals to be done. Okay, so professional help also can be taken. So with this, I will end my lecture, what to do and how we can help our patients. We can take on the questions. Madam?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So, anybody have any questions? Anybody? Please put on your video.
Excuse. Yes, ma'am.
Zero.
Yeah. Can we educate the family members to dress the wound at their home if the patient is at the home? Can we ask the family members to do the wound dressing, or shall we ask them to come to the hospital like that if the patient with fungating wound?
Yes, yes. Patients' relatives can be taught. Ultimately, they will be taking care of the patient. So that is what we prefer. I mean, relatives should dress the wound.
What are the things we can especially see if such a patient? That means, what are the indicators to get the patient to the hospital?
Say, for example, patient is bleeding heavily, right? Some major blood vessel is encroached by the wound. So in such cases, they need to come to hospital. Generally, that is what they require. Oozing part and all, most of the patients, they do manage, relatives do manage, but if there is a lot of exudate, say all of a sudden, or there is the color of the exudate has changed, right? Because of maybe some other infection, superficial infection is there. So, or patient's general condition is deteriorating. So at that time, we need to tell them that they should come to hospital so that proper attention can be given, proper assessment can be done. Many times they do call for home visits also when the patient is not in a condition to be brought to the hospital. So at that time, home visit is done, and how to manage that can be done by the palliative care team. Right, ma'am, if anything else I'm forgetting, then.
No. So you have covered most of the things. I think is usually is a severe uncontrolled pain there. So like neuropathic pain, the patients, the family is not able to control in the family. So that time we receive patient, we admitted patient here, we control the pain, then we send back to home and follow up with the home care. And here we need to understand that the day by day the wound size will be increasing because of the proliferation. So sometimes the caregivers, the relatives are not accepting to dress the wounds. They are not so willing to. Sometimes they are not willing to dress the wounds, maybe because of their fears, and anxiety. What happened next? That sort of anxiety will be in their mind. So what that time how we will manage is we brought the patients here with the family. Our nurses will be teaching. First, our nurses will be demonstrating. So day by day, they gradually they will start involving with the wound care. So give pouring normal saline into the wound. They are just supporting support the nurse along with the dressing time. So during the dressing times, so gradually they will start doing the dressings. After the proper training, we send them back to home. Then we will do the follow through home care. So that's how we manage the wound management. We train the caregivers. And the another thing is maggots. So this is one of the major problem. So how the madam was saying, the maggots was come from flies. So health education, the education is very, very important. They don't know the maggots are come from flies. So our management is the responsibility is teach the caregivers and the family. They have to cover the wound properly, otherwise maggots will come. These type of education we need to give. So if maggots there, they are not able to manage in their home, so they definitely come to the hospital. So the nurses will take care of that, take all the maggots, will take care of that part, and then we educate them again and again. And the another thing is, if the patient is having neuropathic pain there, we learn the term allodynia. When the dressings touches the wound, the patient's the patients will start pain. So if you cover the wounds within in the hospital, when they go to home, after reaching the home, they remove all the dressings and expose the wounds. Because of that, maybe that house flies will touch the wound and again maggots. So we need to do the proper assessment. Okay. So again and again, we have one patient here. So third time the patients come with maggots. So then we assess why that maggots will come and again and again. So we teach the family well, patient well. Then again, why it was happened. So then they said, we can't. I can't able to cover the wound. So after a few hours, when the dressings up that touch on my wound, so I developed severe pain like aching, burning type of pain. So then we treat the neuropathic pain, then the patient is stable. So that type of assessment is very, very important. And another one more point I want to highlight here is when we take maggots, we don't follow maggots. So that is very, very important. If you usually we soak turpentine with the gauze piece and keep close to the wound. After that, the maggots start to come out. With the help of artery forces, we took the maggots. No, we take the maggots. Physically removal is the only management for that maggots. So when you go with your artery forces, usually the maggots will go inside. So if you follow maggots, what happens? Your artery forces will rupture the blood vessels or nerves. So bleeding will come. So because of your things, maybe damage, artery forces touch the blood vessels, bleeding will be there. So don't follow maggots. When the maggots come out, you can take it. Okay. Any other questions? Any other points? And anything you want to add?
No, that these things we need to see properly. Assessment is very much essential.
Yes. And if possible, do the individual assessment. So in front of the caregivers, they don't tell the truth. So if possible, you can do the individual assessment. Who will do dressings? What is the family situation? Whether they are acceptable, whether they are accepting. So usually, if a person gets this type of illness, the family choose the corner side room and keep the patient there. They are not allowed to that come to the dining area or a kitchen or anything. So they always keep the patient there, that particular room only. So that is family isolation, again, the social isolation. So these type of things there in front of the caregivers, they won't tell. So better you can do the individual assessment.
And while you are doing dressing, don't mechanically do it. That is very important for nurses. Always go on talking and talking. You will get a lot of information from the patient, right? Because you can spend, I mean, quite a good amount of time, quality time, you can say, to extract the history from the patient. So in our care plan, I mean, how to see that we can include So that is very, very important. Talking and talking.
That is also very, very important during the dressing. The nurse have a lot of time during the dressings. We can able to communicate with the patients. And also pain assessment, pain management. Before dressings, you have to check the patient is having pain or not. If the patient is having pain, you can give analgesics for that and make sure that the patient is pain free. Then you can do the dressings. So can we move on to the case presentation? Okay. Pratibha ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I'm ready.
Yes, yes. Or do you?
Ma'am, from my end, shall I do a presentation?
It's already present, already.
The screen is already shared from our end, ma'am.
Are
Okay.
you able to see?
Yeah, I'm able to see.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Pratibha Shivakumar. I'm working as a professor in HOD and Medical Surgical Department in Venkateshwara Nursing College, Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So this is my patient detail. He's 86 years old, male patient, right-sided breast cancer. It's a rare case. He developed a mass on his anterior chest wall approximately 2 years ago. The mass was started increasing in size and it started ulcerated, and patient was brought with a bleeding to emergency department. His past history and surgical history goes on. Patient is already a known case of bipolar disorder, and he had dementia and hypertensive. And 20 years back, he had right total mastectomy, received lithium 300 mg daily, and patient was refused to take further medical treatment, that he doesn't receive any adjuvant radiation, chemo and hormone therapy post-operatively. Family history. His mother had a colon cancer, but no other history being found in their family. And patient is married and retired on the age of 62. His wife was suffering from new onset of dementia, arterial fibrillation, chronic anemia, and chronic kidney disease. He has two sons. One son is out of station, and the other had a bipolar disease, and sometimes he would help in daily activities of patient. And family is being supported by his family friend. He is the one who supports throughout the year. And patient has a history of smoking cigars and cigarettes, but he denies to use alcohol and drugs. On examination, we found that vital signs were normal. It was 97.4 degree Fahrenheit. Pulse rate was 80. Respiratory rate was 14. And SpO2 was 100% on air. His blood pressure was elevated to 162/88. Right-sided pentaculated mass was found. It looks like a cauliflower appearance. The mass was ulcerated, was erythematous, malodorous, and with scanty bleeding. You can see a picture there. It's a pre-palliative treatment when the patient came to the hospital with a complete ulcerated wound. This is a post palliative radiation treatment after he admitted in the hospice center. On admission, we can see the WBC count was 6,500. Hemoglobin was 12.4. Hematocrit was 36.2%. Platelet count was 1,78,000. Creatinine of 1.72 and glucose 106. This X-ray shows it's a prominent superior mediasternum, suggesting a non-specific mediasternal mass or adenopathy. And CT chest showed a soft tissue mass in the right chest wall with a post-operative changes of the right axilla. An incisional biopsy of the right breast mass showed consistent with recurrent, moderately differentiated duct carcinoma of the breast with ulceration of overlying epithelium. Grade was T3, NM, and M1. He was taking a medication after his surgery, lithium 300 mg daily. Currently, he is on hormone therapy of tamoxifen 20 mg daily with 1 course of palliative radiation. The psychosocial aspect was lack of medical follow-up, which in turn was influenced by patient psychiatric history and progressive dementia, along with a caregiver inability to recognize the patient's symptoms due to her own advanced age and health limitations. Main concern was patient was diagnosed with a recurrent breast cancer and he is not a candidate for curative treatment. Number 2 is he is a mentally ill patient, that is bipolar disorder, and he also suffers from dementia. And main caregivers are unable to care for a patient due to their own debilitating health status. Summary: 86-year-old man with a history of right-sided breast cancer, bipolar disorder, and dementia, and he is post a total mastectomy patient. He declines adjuvant radiation, chemotherapy, and hormone therapy. He don't want to have a medical follow-up. Patient now presented with a rapid enlarging ulcerating right anterior chest wall tumor. Surgical biopsy revealed that recurrent infiltrating ductal carcinoma of the breast. Patient was started on tamoxifen and palliative radiation. On oncology evaluation, determined that he is not a candidate for curative treatment. Patient's primary caregiver concurrently suffers from dementia. One son is bipolar, the second one is out of station. A full geriatric assessment concluded that based on patient medical and social economic history, he is an ideal candidate for hospice. So with the family concern, currently he is in a skilled nursing facility with hospice. Discussion points: why did he develop mass on anterior chest wall? Does this patient need wound care? Why it's important for this patient to put in a skilled hospice center? What is the role of nurse in ulcerate wound care? What is the role of family members?
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for the excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So anybody need any clarification regarding this patient story? So I need one clarification, ma'am. So why he was not continuing the treatment? Is there any problem?
He has a financial background crisis because he is the only breadwinner of the family, and he was also got retired on 62.
Oh, okay.
That is a big issue they had because of hospice center. Once they have got financially they have taken care, and he was accepting for a radiation therapy also.
Because of the financial,
Yes, ma'am.
he is not continuing the treatment, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, others, please answer this question. Why he developed mass on anterior chest wall? Anna, over to you. We want to hear from the participant side. Answers, please. Why these particular patients develop mass on anterior chest wall? And the second question is this patient need wound care?
Cancer can develop anywhere, no? It is
Yes,
not
yeah.
just. So why it occurred only on anterior chest wall?
Anna, I would like to hear from the participant side.
Yeah. Okay.
So we want to see you all. Please put on your video. Nobody is there? Okay. Please try to answer this question. You can put your answers into the chat box. We all nurses, no? Please tell something or write something. Okay, we received one answer. Yeah, the patient definitely need wound care. Since no caregivers at home, hospice is the alternate option unless the community volunteer is not available. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Anna ma'am, over to you.
Yes. So basically, what I was telling is that cancer can develop anywhere, right? It can be. We would expect that he was chewing, so we would expect that it will occur in the buccal mucosa or any part of the oral cavity. But cancer cells have tendency to develop anywhere, right? So that's it. Then, of course, care is needed and good care is needed. And he is responding to radiation therapy, so that is good. Maybe another course can be given. So, of course, it will depend on his condition and his physical condition also. How is he, whether he can be able to receive or not. So that is helping. That's what is seen from the picture post radiotherapy. So that is good sign. Dressing is, of course, very much essential. So this should be taken care of. Post radiotherapy, of course. Then when the family members are not able to give care, hospice center is a good choice. But of course, it will depend on the choice of the other family members also. How, I mean, what is the situation of the center? How many relatives are there? Because son is also dependent on the wife, and wife is ailing again. And the other son who is there is earning for the family. So at family level, it should be sorted out. That is, of course, there. And patients wish is the final decision. So we should never ignore that. Role of the nurse in ulcerated wound, we already discussed. So all that should be given utmost care. Right? Wife also needs, I think, good care, because old age problems will be there in her also. So
So may,
geriatric problems also should be taken care of.
Pratibha ma'am, you want to say something?
yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And this patient was developed anti-chest wall wound again was because he refused to take a follow-up treatment after post-operative. That is also one of the reason he came across to develop, because it has been shown in the investigation. The patient was in metastasis. So many times it is being told about the condition of the patient. Patient was being refused to continue it. So that's the reason he developed again the wound in a same place, and it was in a progressed way he came back to us. That is the thing which we had as a nurses, we have educated him again. When he left the hospital also, we have educated, but he was refused because of the financial burden. When he came back, then we were able to talk to a hospice center, and we have connected him to one of a hospice center. That is the reason patient again developed mass.
Right now he is in the hospice, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So what about his wife?
His wife also been along with the patient, and one of person who's sharing financial burden,
Okay.
and somebody is paying for them.
Okay. So what I understand was one son is also staying along with his parents, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes,
So
ma'am.
what is his condition right now?
He's actually along with the family, so complete family. Complete family is in the hospice center, and one person is from the trust, they are paying for them. So that's why he has been accepted for a next step also. Otherwise, he would have not again.
Okay. So that is one good thing. So we need to identify some volunteers, and because of that support of that volunteer, we can take care of the patient in the hospice. So the whole family will be protected by the hospice, no? So
Yes.
here the patient is having problem, and his wife is having problem. We know, we understand that palliative care is not only for the patient, it's for the family. So we need to give a proper care to support to the family members also. So without family support, we can't do anything. So with the help of the caregivers only, we give a proper care to the patient. Okay. So here the patient caregiver is also health problems. So she need proper care. And again, he has two sons. One son is having some mental health issues, right?
He's also a patient of bipolar disorder, because
Yes.
family history of bipolar disorder. He's also.
So, okay. So whether they are getting any treatment for that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Since it is a trust, they are using it. Even in the hospice center, they are coming and helping a patient.
Okay. So that is Very good. And what about the younger son?
We don't know that about his history. Just they
Oh.
told only he left. He's out of house. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway, this patient need wound care, right?
Yes.
Yes. So we learned how to take care of the wound. So the first question is why he developed mass on the anterior chest wall? Maybe because of not doing the proper follow, and he was not doing the taking the proper treatment. Because of that, maybe one reason. The another reason that the first thing, the why he developed mass on his anterior chest wall is, as and anterior ma'am that Anna ma'am said, it can occur anywhere. Okay. And here, CA breast is not most common in India, but age more than 60 years. So age one cause, and the another thing is high estrogen levels, one of the cause, and the history of radiotherapy, the another cause, and family history. If there is any family history there, the patients can develop this type of tumors, and obesity. So liver damage, example cirrhosis of liver. These are the common problem, the causes which can develop the CA breast for men's. And the another thing is genetic conditions. So these are the most common problems. Here we identify the diagnosis. We after that the patient is not doing the adequate follow, not the follow, not continuing the treatment. Maybe because of that the metastasis there. So where was the metastasis? Is there any thing you identified? CA breast with, yeah, so your case presentation said the metastasis 1, VM1. So where was the mets?
It started in the lungs now.
Oh, lung
Lungs.
mets. Oh, okay. So definitely maybe the patients will develop dyspnea if CA lung, no. So we need to give a care to that part only, that part also, not only for that part. So that part is also you have to look into.
He
So-
completely needs counseling also because it's a rare kind of breast.
Oh.
He was very much hesitate to tell outside. That is one more thing on male breast, and his age also, he's aged as well as dementia, and this was a great challenge for a counselor to take care of this patient.
Yes. Yeah. So the next question is what is the role of a nurse in ulcerate wound care? Definitely the nurse is the major role for wound care. So we need to give a proper assessment. We need to give a proper treatment, that dressing to the wound. We have to give a that counseling. So as nurses, we are spending more time with the patients. If you get time, definitely listen their problems. So based on their problems, you can try to solve their problems. As ma'am said, you can also involve the medical social workers. If the medical social workers are available, you can try to involve the medical social workers and elicit their psychosocial issues. So explore more psychosocial issues, and if you are able to meet their psychosocial issues, definitely you can try to do it. So anything you want to add?
You are right, madam. He will require a lot of psychological support here because he will be in, I mean, too much of guilt and psychological trauma will be there in this patient. Being a male patient and having breast cancer is very rare, very rare. So psychological support is very, very essential. The family will require that a lot also. So talking with the patient is very important, and it is very good that some NGO is supporting. I mean, the hospice center is doing a great job, and the person who is supporting is also very good. So that is, I mean, privilege for the patient also and the society also.
Yeah, so one chat answer is, I think the nursing students can be utilized as a volunteer in the future for the home care. So here we need to understand that here the home care is not possible because the patient and his family, that whole family will be affecting health issues. So day by day, this family need a continuous treatment. So hospice care is the best option for this patient. So we are not able to manage the patient in home care because the night time also the patient need care. What about others? Any other suggestion? Anna ma'am, any other suggestion? So I mean in general, not for this patient. Okay. So
Yeah,
in general, not for this
Right.
patient. So definitely we will try to involve the volunteers. If that local community volunteers are there, you can try to involve the volunteers. They are willing to support the family. Definitely, you can try to involve the volunteers. So here, this patient is not continuing the treatment because of the financial issues. I have a lot of experience because of the side effects of the medications like chemotherapy and radiotherapy. The patient is not continuing the treatment. So after that, after 1 year, they come with the multiple metastasis and all. So that time, the curative option is out of that. Then so we will give a palliative care treatment. So that time, if you take a proper history to the patient, definitely they said because of that fear of side effects of the treatment like chemotherapy and radiotherapy, I was not able to continue the treatment. So why I am telling this here is we need to give a palliative care along with the treatment. Okay. So if from the point of diagnosis, if you start the palliative care, definitely they will continue the treatment. So they are thinking if the side effects there, they can go to the palliative care center, any palliative care center, and take symptomatic treatment from there. And we can able to give a proper psychological support, proper physical support, that spiritual support and all. So then definitely they will continue in the treatment. And here also, if we found that financial issues is one of the problem is there, definitely we can find out the volunteers, some financial aids, financial support, some definitely the few people will be willing to give money, donate money for these type of persons. Definitely, if we that find out these type of issues there, definitely we can try to find out the donors and help the patient. This is if the curative option is available, definitely try to find out money. Try to that connect with an NGO and connect with the charitable trust and all. So maybe.
So as you told, because I came across my study was in a cancer patient. I've done my study.
Okay.
I came across a patient, so many patients, as you told, because of the side effects, they have stopped the chemotherapy. So much of patient because of hair loss and nausea, vomiting. That was the great thing, and one more also fatigue. These are the three main thing. Patient had a fear of continuing chemo. And when I was taking my patient, as you said, ma'am, so many patients, they were very much afraid of these three symptoms.
Yes.
Many of my research subject has been left because of this. So during this, palliative care is one of the most important to educate by a nurse when patient in the cancer unit itself. Because one of the main concern of nurses, as we have a main concern, and we as a nurse, we need to educate the patient at in the prevention level itself, in primary prevention.
So how can we prevent it in the primary level is we can do the proper assessment, proper listening. So listening is most important thing. So listen their problems, then only we can identify the problems. If you identify the problem, definitely we can try to manage that problem. So anybody have any questions? Any more questions? Nirosha, any questions? No. So can we wind up the session? Anna, you want to say something? Anything you want to add?
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Anything?
okay. Can we wind up the session?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you once again for the wonderful session. And thank you, Pratibha ma'am, for the suitable presentation. It was it's a good presentation. And we have learned many things today. So thank you once again. Thank you all. Okay.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, everyone. Please don't forget to leave your feedbacks. We are sharing the link for the same in the chat box as well as in the WhatsApp group. So with that note, this is Sripriya along with Sister Shiva signing off from today's echo session. See you in the next session. Till then, everyone, take care and wish you a belated Christmas wish and advance Happy New Year. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.